There are a lot of optical systems that have moving components, such as zoom lenses, or cases where you need to model different variants of the system. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use RayLab's multiple configuration manager to accomplish this. If you haven't seen RayLab before, you may want to watch the introductory video first. The link for that is in the descriptions below. So here I have a simple optical system, simple imaging system, and I'm going to turn this into a zoom lens by setting up some different configurations. The first thing I want to do is select the surface that I want to reposition, and I'm going to go here and select the Z position of the surface. Now typically as I move this, I'm just changing the overall design of the system. But if I click on this multi-configuration button, that parameter is now controlled by the configuration manager. And I can go up here and click on this multi-configuration button, and that shows me a different view, and I can see that right now there is only a single configuration defined and there's one parameter that is being controlled by that. So I am going to add a new configuration, and now I can switch back and forth between these two configurations, but of course at the moment they have exactly the same value. So what I'm going to do is, in the second configuration, I'm going to reposition my lens further out, and of course I see that when I do that my focus is getting messed up. So I'm going to select the third lens and go back here to the lens parameters, select its Z coordinate, and put that under multiple configuration control as well. Again, the little icon number 2 here is showing me that that parameter is under configuration control, and currently I'm looking at the value for the second configuration. So I can go ahead and move that and bring my system back into focus, and I can now see that as I switch between the different configurations, both of those parameters change. Now as you can see, you can either change the parameter values right here in the lens page, or you can go to the multiple configuration page and see all of the parameters that are under configuration control. And we can add additional configurations. You can have as many configurations as you want, or you can delete any of the configurations you no longer want to keep. Now if I close the lens properties window, you also see that when I have multiple configurations, I have a slider, and dragging that slider lets me actually interpolate between the different configurations. And I can even animate by pressing the little play button here, and the system automatically goes back and forth between those configurations. And the last thing I want to point out is that if I go back here to the configuration screen, I can change some of the properties of that animation. So as you saw, it's quite simple to set up multiple configurations in your optical system. There are a couple of samples provided with RayLab. One of them is this zoom lens example, which is just a slightly more elaborate version of the example I just built up. I can go here and I can easily switch between these different configurations. Or there's a second example, which is this one that is comparing the chromatic aberration of 3 different lenses, and I can switch between these, again going up here and going between the 3 different configurations. So that was a quick overview of the multiple configuration manager in RayLab. It's quite a powerful feature, but also very simple to use.